All right, so this is a reading for each of the 12 signs for the latter part of April into the middle of May. I recorded a very in-depth report for this time period, and I'm going to link the more in-depth video in the content of this video or in the description box. But so I'd strongly suggest you watch that so you understand more fully what I'm going over for each of the 12 signs. There are three major areas that I see will be in focus for us in this coming month. And so I'm going to go through, I'm going to talk about the place where we're having this idealized vision. Essentially, we start out around the 13th this week. We start out seeing this new dream, this new vision, this new reality that we'd like to bring into fruition. And what it requires is for us to kind of create some departure from what we've created so far. So I'm going to talk for each of the 12 signs about where that idealized vision could be coming to fruition for each of you. Then I'm going to talk about where the new moon eclipse conjunct Uranus and the North Node and all of that. I'm going to talk about where to focus your tangible effort, like where to really put your consciousness and effort into, because that's the place that it's different from the vision that, you've got this vision, but sometimes if you take care of this thing, that's what's going to bring that vision into manifestation. And then for each of the 12 signs, I'm going to talk about what will come into more tangible reality that you'll be probably planning and working toward starting in May, what will come into more fruitfulness in 2023. So there's this like long-term plan that will be coming into fruitfulness. So talk about those three areas. Again, be sure to watch that longer month ahead video to go into deeper clarity about what all of this actually means in context, because there's a lot that goes into it. So when you're watching this video, you can watch it for your sun sign. That would pretty much put, for the entire month that you were born, the sun rose in your sign every day. So when the sun is in Aries, when the sun rises, that means that Aries, the constellation of Aries, was rising on the day that you were born. So you can actually listen to it for your sun sign, and you'll be able to like connect with everyone that was born during the time that you were born. Like there was always this every day started with that energy, and that would be like the reign of that day. So even though you could have been born at like noon, which would have put Gemini, for instance, on that rising, this is, I don't know, that's like another component. That's a more specialized component to your natal chart. It's a more specialized version of your recipe. And so you could also listen to it for your rising sign. Now, if you know what your rising sign is, if you know your recipe, your natal chart, what will be even more specific is if you look at what you primarily have in your first house. If let's say that your rising sign is Gemini, your sun is Aries, and you actually like have primarily Cancer in your first house, let's just say, well, that means that you have primarily Leo in your second house and primarily Virgo in your third house, which would mean that if you listen to it for Gemini, it would put Cancer actually, I'm being like, all right, the moon is in Virgo right now, so I'm getting like super hyper detailed. I just like love how we can get like such clear recipes. Like if you think that listening to it for your sun sign is accurate, imagine how accurate it would be if you actually dialed in your natal chart recipe. So this is why I'm talking about it. If you have an interest in getting even more clear about your recipe, I do offer a Study Yourself, Learn Astrology course. It's a self-study course. It includes daily astrology prompts. So every single day, I write these things every day anyway. They're available for free on my website, so you could always tune in no matter what. My website is lunation.live. So feel free to tune in every single day. But if you'd also like a little like extra like navigation of your natal chart, I offer this course. It has 12 lectures. It includes a regular like group mastermind for all returning students, all current students. People can just tune in and have conversations about what's going on. That will be available. It's available now. It's available all the time. You can pay in full. You can pay with payment plans. It's not expensive. So you can do that, or you could actually even schedule a reading with me. I'll go over your blueprint. We'll get real clear on your recipe. There's a document you can print out so that you can actually like refer to your recipe as the moon moves through certain places. All of that's available. I care deeply about people becoming even more congruent with their true natural selves. And the way that I know how to help people create that congruence in their lives is by teaching them more about themselves and their personal recipes. So, and giving them the tools that allows you to navigate your own personal recipe through a felt experience. Like there's nothing like feeling a shift in your world and then knowing that that shift was something that is being supported by the natural cycles, and that you're so held, that life is always holding you. And I don't know, it's just beautiful. So if that's something that's interesting, all of those resources are available on my website, lunation.live. All right, so now for Aries, if you have Aries in your first house, on your ascendant, or if you're an Aries sun, the idealized vision that you're going to be kind of touching into, it's actually kind of abstract. It has to do with feeling completely free and sovereign on a soul level. Like it's almost like a dismantling of all of your old structures, all of your old roles. Like your vision is one that allows ultimate freedom from any type of limitation. And so it's a little less specific for you, Aries. It's because you know that if you're able to dismantle all of that for yourself, that you have the freedom to experience your life every single day in a fresh, new, free way. And you want to be the conscious leader and creator of your life. So this dismantling is necessary. And so you're doing a lot of like subconscious dismantling, or you're diving into like old shadows and things like that to release yourself from all of that, because your idealized vision has to do with ultimate sovereign freedom. And when it comes to this new moon, like where to focus your tangible energy and attention, that place is actually, if you focus primarily on what do you need on a foundational level. So you ask your body, what will support you first thing in the morning? How much sleep do you need? How much money do you need? Like, how much time do you need for this? Like, do you ideally want to like take 30-minute showers or 15-minute showers? Like you could be getting so granular. Like, do you want to use plastic razors anymore? Or do you want to use something that's more sustainable for the earth? Like, is it possible that something that's more sustainable for you is actually also more sustainable for the earth? So you're getting like into the nitty gritty of how you value yourself and what you need in order to feel fully sustained. So it's very like foundational for you, where you put your energy and focus. And then the huge vision that you see that you're going to be bringing into fruition in 2023 that takes effort over time is actually a whole new character. So I believe that this new vision that you see of this like ultimate expression of your life, this ultimate like beingness of an embodiment of what your soul has come here to be and experience, you want to be fully aligned and congruent with that by 2023. And that's kind of the goal of your world right now. And it starts with the most foundational things. If you have Taurus in your first house or ascendant, or you have a Taurus sun, the huge idealized vision that you have is actually a vision for how you belong and impact your community. So you could have this strong vision of community, of involvement, of friendships, of affiliations, of advocacy. You want to be a part of something that matters. You want to be a part of something that makes a difference, that actually will shift the whole paradigm of thought. You want to see change in the global, like, external world. And so you're having a vision, and it's causing you to actually reflect the place where you really need to put your focus and attention. If you want to cultivate that big, huge kind of social change, you really need to focus on yourself, on the first house. You need to focus on, well, how am I an example of that? How am I modeling that? How is everything I'm doing, every part of my character, how am I an example? It's like, so like, be the change, right? Your everything should be focused on you and yourself, cultivating the character that you would like to see in the world. And what will happen is, as 2023, the effort over time that becomes in 2023, you'll actually be existing in a world where you have soul sovereignty, where you're karmically and synchronistically tuned in so well that you move about the world as a totally guided soul. So it's kind of interesting for you, Taurus. You would love to just belong naturally, to feel that your soul is doing exactly what it came here to do, and that you're aligned perfectly with the fabric of reality, doing exactly what you've come here to do. So it's a little abstract, but ironically, the social change that you want to see, you'll feel the congruence of the social change because you've actually created that for yourself, and it actually changes. There's another saying that comes to mind here is, we don't see the world as it is, but we see the world as we are. And so ironically, if you want to see something change out there, if you change the way you are, you will begin to see the world as you are. And that's the congruence. All right, Gemini. If you have Gemini in your first house, your ascendant, or as your sun sign, the thing that you are having a new vision for is the legacy that you leave on the planet. You're seeing this new vision for this mark that you'll leave, this this gift that you want to bring to the world. It's like you're feeling, oh my gosh, I can create this, I can bring this, I can deliver this. It is in my true nature to be this, and this is what I want to be as my gift to the world. You could even, a good practice would be like, what would you love to see on your gravestone? Like, how would you want to be remembered after you're gone? This is the vision that you're having right now. And the place where you'll really need to focus your tangible effort and consciousness is actually in the space of your union with your soul. Like, I feel that there's a lot of reflective integration processes that you'll be doing as you reflect on your connection to your soul, your connection to spirituality, your connection to faith, your connection to the sovereignty that you give your soul by not limiting your soul's expression. So this is kind of, it's giving yourself the space to actually ask your soul, what do you desire to experience today? That is actually where your work is, giving yourself the space to commune with that and reflect, okay, how am I experiencing everything that my soul was asking for in the past? So there's a reflection piece to this. And what will end up in 2023, what will end up actually shifting will be actually the people that you affiliate with. So it could be that this vision, this legacy has something to do with an impact for others, like fully sharing your gifts in a way that others are able to receive them and use them and change their own lives. And so there's some sort of advocacy that you see come to fruition, a foundation that you build, people benefiting from your efforts, from your way of being, from your message. That is essentially what will come to fruition through the work of this year and into 2023. Now, if you have Cancer in your first house or on your ascendant, or you have a Cancer sun, the place that you're having an idealized vision, you're actually coming into clarity on what it is you truly believe, like your guiding principle. You're coming into this awareness of what you, maybe for the first time in your life, what's absolutely actually true for you and how you can personally lead your own life from that truth. And this Cancer, I see this being like, there's so many life experiences that you're drawing on for what is true for you. And so for you, really coming into awareness of what you allow to teach you, what you allow to lead you, what you allow to inform your truth, all of that's coming into a real clear vision. But the area where if you need to put your tangible effort and focus is who you affiliate with. So there's your work has to do with identifying if the people that you're hanging out with are aligned with your truth and vision. What pools or tribes or groups feel like they're supportive of you leading your own life, of you having that self-governance, and what groups or affiliations feel that feel like stifling to you. So your work is to actually seek out the others, seek out the people that light you up, seek out the people that encourage you and innovate you and invigorate you for having even stronger personal truth. And what will change, the thing that will come to fruition over time through this year and next, is actually a brand new, fully actualized and sustainable career or legacy, the mark you leave on the world. I believe that there will be a shift this year, and the legacy you leave and the work you do in the world will feel a very strong, new, sustainable foundation. So and it comes from doing the work of affiliating with people who are more aligned with your truth, your idealized truth. For Leos, if you have Leo in your ascendant, Leo as your rising, or Leo sun, the idealized vision that you're having is actually one about the intimacy that you can experience in your life. Now, this could be intimacy with yourself, intimacy with life, like letting your life be very intimate, or even intimacy with your lover or your very close friends. So what is actually intimacy? I feel that there are three primary parts to intimacy. The first part is being incredibly honest with yourself about what you truly feel, what you truly think, what you truly desire. So having that full honesty with yourself, that's intimacy with self. The next piece would be sharing that intimacy of your truth with another person. And that's very vulnerable, and that could feel very like scary, but that is like, first of all, you know the truth. And secondly, you share it with another, and you understand that the other, you do not have control over them. You do not own their feelings. You do not control, you're not responsible even for their feelings or the way that they take this truth. And so the third level is an absolute acceptance and release of the outcome of your truth when you share it with someone else. So there are these three components of intimacy. I'm actually talking about this in a book I'm writing. But Leo, this is kind of this new vision, this new intimacy vision that you're having for your life. And the place where, ironically, you're going to really need to be focusing your energy and attention in order to create this is understanding what legacy you actually want to leave on this planet. So really reflecting, like, how do I want to be remembered when I'm gone? Like, how do I want to leave people feeling after I've spent time with them? Like, what is the legacy of my life? What's the legacy of my presence? This could also have to do with, like, how do my children perceive me? Like, what lessons have I modeled for them and that they've absorbed? So that's where the work is. It's really you thinking about your legacy, your career, and the mark you leave on the planet. And then the thing that actually will come to full fruition by 2023 through effort and hard work throughout this year is actually, it has to do with you coming to a whole new truth about what life is really about, a whole new guiding principle, a whole new set of philosophies. So I think this is interesting. I see a lot of transformation for you through that third quadrant of intimacy and truth and guiding principle. This could be a big paradigm shifting personal year for you. For Virgos, if you have Virgo on your ascendant in your first house or as your Virgo sun, the idealized vision that you're having is actually a relationship paradigm. You're actually visioning the way that relationship could be for you, a whole new way of approaching relationships generally. And this could be a relationship with anything, with people, with your body, with your life, with your work, with your clients, with food, with anything. This is, how do you relate to things as an individual? How do you relate as an individual to the outside world? And the place where you'll really need to focus your energy and attention and resources is actually on, well, what is actually true for you? So if you want to experience a new relationship paradigm, that relationship paradigm is going to include you owning your own truth. And I talked about the 3 parts of intimacy when I was speaking about Leo, but those 3 parts of intimacy are being absolutely honest with yourself about what's true, sharing that honesty with another person, and completely releasing attachment to how they receive that news. So those 3 components, actually, that's the work for you, is just being really honest with yourself and doing that work. And the thing that will come into full fruition by 2023 is actually a whole new experience of intimacy with your life. So really working those 3 levels of intimacy. First of all, being super honest with yourself. What are your preferences right now? What's true for you right now? What do you desire right now? Sharing those desires with the people that you trust. No matter what, no matter how scary it is, no matter how vulnerable it is, and then releasing attachment to how they respond to you. That's going to give you this entirely new experience of intimacy as we approach 2023. And now Libra. Libra, the place where you're having a super idealized vision has to do with your freedom and sovereignty in your day-to-day life. So you are absolutely taking a look at, what do you desire to do the first thing you wake up in the morning? What do you desire to do with the way that you commit your time? What are you committed to? What freedoms do you need? What do you need in your health regime? Like, what does a free and sovereign life look like to you? And so you're having this idealized vision of this free and sovereign life. And the place where you really need to focus your energy and attention and effort is actually in your intimate relationships. If you want to experience this idealized vision of this new, like, personal life, this sovereign life, then there will be some focus, because the things that could limit that for you have to do with intimate relationship. So there will be conversations you need to have, like speaking your truth. I speak a lot about intimacy in the Leo and Virgo things, because they've got 8th house stuff going on. For you, the work truly is understanding intimacy on 3 different levels. I'll share it again because repetition is beautiful. First of all, you've got to be really, really honest with yourself. So first, personal honesty. What do I desire right now? what's actually true for me right now? What do I not appreciate right now? What's crossing my boundaries? All of that, you have to be super clear with yourself about that. That's intimacy with self. That will actually give you an idea of what a sovereign life looks like for you. Second, you have to be willing to communicate that with the people in your world. That's scary, right? Because we're so afraid of their feelings, of what they'll think about you, your connection with them. So step 2 is actually the interpersonal intimacy component. And step 3 is releasing your attachment to the outcome of that sharing. So they could be happy, they could be sad, they could withdraw, they could move closer. There's so much that happens when we share our truth with another. And that opens up transformation. So the work for you is definitely in the space of intimacy and working those three pieces. And the thing that's going to happen for you is a total transformation and this whole new experience in 2023 of relationship at large. You are one of the individuals that's really bringing the new paradigm of relationship to the surface. So practicing all of these things as you traverse this landscape on your path to sovereignty is cultivating a whole new paradigm of relationship. All right, for Scorpios, the idealized vision that you're seeing now has to do with joy and pleasure, receiving your life in a sensual way, like being a part of life in a way that feels like play, like you're like, if I'm going to be a lion and I'm going to be on this planet, then I'm going to enjoy this kingdom. That's sort of the energy of the idealized vision that you're having. And the place where, if you want to experience that like lioness energy of like, all right, well then let's do this, then the area or focus of tangible effort and consciousness is going to actually be in your relationships. So you're going to need to do the work of relationship, have those conversations. Even though this doesn't necessarily point to intimate relationships, I would listen to Leo, Virgo, and Libra because I talk a lot about intimacy in those 3 spaces. You're just paying attention to the way relationships are functioning in your life, and you're bringing more of that playfulness and joy into those relationships. That's the work for you. Or the tangible effort or the tangible consciousness, right? So what will actually happen as a result of this, what will come into fruition in 2023 is actually a whole new sovereignty, a whole new way of being free in your body, in your life. There's this thing that will come into fruition in 2023 that will be like your ultimate freedom. And I'm not sure that you've ever experienced freedom on this caliber before, because our consciousness has never been to this place before. So there's some sort of soul sovereignty where you get freedom over your entire reality. Whatever your soul impulse is, you're able to follow it. That is an ultimate freedom. So there's a huge gift involved with doing that work. And so, yeah, focus on your joy. That's what lights you up. That's your primary goal during this cycle. Sagittarius, the place where you are having a idealized vision is in your 4th house of home. So Sagittarius, you are absolutely envisioning, you have this new vision for this new home. What home could even feel like? Are you going to live in the city or on the beach or in the suburbs or, like the country? Like, what does home feel like? What are the amenities of home? What truly deeply is home for you? How do you feel at home in your body? How do you feel like you're fully nourished by your life? So this idealized vision is what is present for you right now. And the place where you'll really need to focus your tangible effort and consciousness is actually on your day-to-day sovereignty. So if you want your home to be as ideal as you'd like it to be, then you need to really understand what your soul longs to experience from the moment you wake up in the morning on a day-to-day level. What do you want to, how much sleep do you want to have? What do you want to eat? What do you want to do with your time? All of these things, making a conscious effort to focus on your day-to-day life is going to help cultivate that idealized home that you see. And over time, this year will bring to fruition fifth house topics in 2023, which is what lights you up: excitement, novelty, joy, pleasure, the sensuous experience of being a human on this planet, the gifts of being alive, playfulness. So 2023 will bring you a life of excitement and pleasure. And all you really need to do is see the vision of home that you want to experience and do the work of what you truly desire on a day-to-day basis that will support your life. Capricorn. If you have Capricorn in your first house or on your ascendant, or you have a Capricorn sun, the place where you're having an idealized vision has something to do with your intellectual property, with the content that you create, with your way of thinking. There's some kind of structured way of thinking, some way that you understand your life, that you're coming into a vision about. And so it's like your concepts about reality are shifting. I see that this will be a shift from what you previously thought about. And while that's shifting and you're having these new ideas and they feel really, really good, the area that you'll really need to focus your attention on, these thoughts must include your fifth house, your joy, your pleasure, your excitement, things that light you up. So there's something to this new intellectual property, this new thought, this new content you're creating that is, if you put your focus, energy, and attention on your joy, your bliss, your pleasure, what it means to be a sensuous human on this planet, what are the tangible, beautiful details of life that make life worth living, that's what your focus and work is on. So if your work, you're the only sign, your work is to play, to make sure it feels good, to make sure it feels fun and pleasurable and exciting. And when you do that, what you're actually creating for yourself that will come into full fruition in 2023 is a new complete well-being of being resourced, a whole new space of home that is the foundation of your entire life. It will feel resourced, it'll feel nourishing, it'll feel held, it'll feel connected. You're coming into the most connected life that you've ever experienced in 2023. And so that'll be the fruit of you utilizing and moving toward this idealized new thought process to prioritize your joy and bliss. So now Aquarius, the place where you're having a new idealized vision has to do with your sense of values, self-worth, and getting your needs met in a tangible way. So Aquarius, you are very much like, you're coming into an awareness of just how worthy you truly are, of the value of who you really are. There is, I think that for a long time, Aquarius, you maybe felt like you didn't belong. You didn't know where your worthiness lied. You almost felt like you were somehow not valued because you didn't quite fit in. And that is what's changing. You actually see this idealized vision of you being fully valued for the uniqueness that you are, for all of your differences, for all the things that made you stand out in the past. And so your new ideal, like, what if all those things that are very unique and strange and odd about me are exactly why I am so, so valuable? So there could be an increase in your pricing, an increase in what you ask for at your job, an increase of like you getting your needs met and really holding that value for yourself. And the place where you'll really need to put in the conscious effort and tangible consciousness is actually in your home. So it starts at home for you. It starts in the foundation. It starts with your loved ones and your children. Like it starts with the way that you structure your home. Like, do you put value into you nourishing you? And does your home reflect that? Is it telling that story? I will share a couple of days ago, I wrote about these ways of organizing a home. There's like three basic like rules I came up with, or three basic protocol that I came up with for creating a home that's truly resource and sustainable. The first one is that things can be beautiful and practical. We don't have to settle for things that are not practical or not beautiful. Things can be beautiful and practical. And if they're not beautiful or they're not practical, then step number 2 is things must tell a story. Okay, so it can be beautiful and tell a story, or it could be practical and tell a story. But the really big work of step number 2 is, what story is it telling? And do you want to keep telling that story? Is that a story you like? Is that a story that you want to like build your life around? Does that story feel nourishing for you? So beautiful and practical, or it tells a story, and it must tell a story that you want to tell. So become conscious of the story. And then the third piece of this is, if it's not beautiful or it's not practical and it's not telling a story that you like, it must go away. There's no space for it in your life. So away might be put away, put far away into the garage, given away, donated, sold. It just doesn't need to take up bandwidth in your visual life. So go ahead and run that through your system for your home. That could be the good tangible work for you, is really asking yourself, is it beautiful? Is it practical? What story is it telling? And if it's not telling a story I appreciate, can I get rid of it or put it away or store it or sell it? Okay, then Aquarius, the next space that will come into kind of full fruition in 2023 is a whole new mindset, a whole new way of perceiving the world, a whole new way of thinking about yourself, of thinking about life. It's just like a whole new content. So you could be creating new content about your, like maybe you're writing a book, maybe you'll be creating content that you share with the world. There will be a whole new mindset, belief system, and content that will come to fruition by 2023. Okay, finally, Pisces. Pisces, the place where you're having this idealized vision is actually about yourself. You are beginning to relate to yourself in a wholly new way. You are understanding who you are in a multidimensional way, what you were before, what you've come here to be, what your soul urge is, like what character you're playing on this planet. There's this like idealized understanding of how you being the character that you are is so ideal and perfect. And what's interesting is the place where you'll need to focus your tangible effort and consciousness is actually on your beliefs and mindset. So the way you think, your content, the content you've created, the content you want to create, you could be creating all new content right now based on this new awareness of who you are. And so just like it's sort of mental, there could be some writing involved, there could be some teaching involved. This is a space where you're just really sharing your ideas, you're sharing the truth of the way you think, the thought process, the way your mind functions. So getting clear on that is the actual work for you right now. It's mental, and it's has to do with your beliefs and content, intellectual property. And the thing that will come to fruition through this effort of this year is actually a whole new, hugely encompassing personal value and self-worth. There will be a financial component to this. There will be, you'll feel like you finally have all the resources that you need that will feel very sustained. It'll feel very supportive. You have your entire world acts as a support system to your life. So I definitely see that as it's because you've come into an awareness of who you are. You've come into a space where you're sharing the truth of what you believe because you understand that that's what your characters come here to do. And that is what fuels the resources of your life so that you feel completely sustained and resourced. Whew, all right. So that was for each of the 12 signs. Please make sure you watch my longer video that goes into depth about all of these energies for yourself, and then reflect even more deeply on what I just shared for each of the 12 signs. Remember, if you'd like to know more about your personal recipe or even get really granular about all of this, you can schedule a reading with me. For people who are really like committed to creating a life that is like deeply reset, I do have 4 people already. I'm offering a couple more spaces for my year-long mentorship. This is where we meet one-on-one every single week. We go in depth into what is up for you during that period of time. There's a total restructuring based on your natal chart and your recipe for the entire year. If that's interesting to you, you can reach out to me. We'll talk about it. Also, as I said before, I've got my Study Yourself, Learn Astrology course. It's a self-paced astrology course. You get astrology every single day. You get that anyway. It's free on my website, lunation.live. You can click on the calendar. I write every single day about the astrology, but also you'll get lectures on how to really dive into your chart, the archetypes, the temples of awareness, the zodiac, all the things, and you'll be able to participate in a mastermind of all returning and current students. So if those are interesting, all of the information is available on my website, lunation.live. And thank you so much for supporting my channel. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.